What's up guys, back again for another fishing video. If you joined us last night on the stream, thank you so much. We had a lot of fun, answered a lot of fishing questions. Today though, we're diving into a topic that I get a ton of questions about. If you haven't yet though, go ahead and drop down and hit that subscribe button for me if you don't mind. And maybe, just maybe, drop a like on this video. And I'm just going to implore you to do one more thing for me. When this video is over with and you watch this video, drop me a comment below and tell me what you think. This is a product review video on something that is super unorthodox and way different than what you've ever used, myself included. So without further ado, let's just jump right on into this video and get it started and I don't even know what else to say, but let's go. Alright guys, today is a special video just for you. One product in particular that I've gotten a lot of questions on here lately is a new reel from Lose. And I'm just going to tell you, this is going to be a comprehensive product review. And I'm not just going to tell you, you got to go buy this product, because I don't know what I think about it yet. And that's a fact. I'm not going to just sell you on something I don't know. So today, we're going to break down a new reel from Lose. This particular reel is called the Team Lose Pro SP. The Team Lose Pro SP looks like most traditional Lose reels. It has a really small frame. It fits in your hand nicely. It's super lightweight. It actually has the compressed EVA foam grips, which I actually prefer. I like the wind grips for certain situations, but for what this reel is made for, I really like this handle. But enough about that stuff. The most intriguing and different aspect of this reel is the spool. Now I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys, I don't know what I think about super shallow spools. And when I say super shallow, like I don't even know if this thing will hold 40 yards of line. It might not. And today we're going to find out exactly how much line this reel holds and what it can do. It only comes in one gear ratio. It only comes in one spool size. And quite frankly, it's just really technique specific. So how can we incorporate a reel like this, something so unorthodox, into our fishing game? And today, that's exactly what we're going to break down, is how you can fit this reel into your game and what I think about this reel. Like I said before, this isn't going to be just some big product push. This is going to be something where I truly break this reel down and show you and show myself what it can do. We're not going to fish with it today, but next week I'm going to take it fishing and I'm going to put it through the test. I'm going to put it through the ringer. So this might be a two-part series, because I'm going to tell you what I think about this reel. And one of the very first things that I noticed is on the spool itself, it says skipping and pitching. So what am I going to be skipping and pitching? I'm going to dedicate one reel to skipping and pitching? I get it. We dedicate spinning reels to this technique or that technique, or a cranking reel to throw deep diving crankbaits. But why do I need a skipping reel? And what are the benefits of having a reel with such a small spool? And it wasn't until I sat down with Andy Montgomery and asked him a couple questions about it, sat down with Jason Christie and talked to him about it a little bit, because quite frankly, guys, I don't have all of the answers. I'm still learning in this game, just like any of you. I probably will still be learning when I'm 60 years old, because that's just the kind of person I am. I like to learn things. I like to be better. I like to adapt to my situation. I'm not going to sit here and cry about, all this stuff happening, technology and changing in the game. The game changes every day, and if you don't keep up with it, you're going to be left behind, and that is an absolute fact. And case in point, this reel. This is in my opinion, and I hate the word game changer. Like, I truly hate that word. I guess that's two words, game changer. Anyways, I don't like that word. But in the case of what this reel does and why it does what it does, kind of is a game changer. So let's dive into it. Let's spool this thing up. Let's see exactly how much line this thing will hold. And let's get it going. Let's go. One of the very first things that I noticed is that this reel comes in one gear ratio. That gear ratio is an 8:3-1, so it's a really fast reel. So when it comes to spooling it up, it's going to go really fast. because I mean, the spool is so shallow. So like, let's go ahead and spool this up and let's see how much line it holds, and let's go kind of from there. So one little trick I'll show you is I use this to spool my line. So this is just a standard little box. I don't use a rail or anything like that. And basically all I do is I get my line off there, I put the spool in the box, I run my line through the guide, and on this reel there's actually a little place where you can tie your fluorocarbon or braid or whatever you're using. Because I mean, from everything I've heard on this reel, you can use both fluorocarbon, braid, you can use anything you want to. So I always just tie mine. It's a little bit more of a process and not as fast, but it's just the way that I've always done it. All right, so we got the line tied to the spool. I'm using 17-pound test on here because I feel like that's a good in-between. It's not 15, so it's not just gonna hold like, 25 yards of 20 and 40 yards of 15. So let's try this. And let's see how much it holds. Alright, we're spooled up, we're ready to go. It actually held quite a bit more line than I was expecting. When you think 40 yards, you're like, man, that's not very much line. But, I mean, first off, I was very impressed how much it held. So, now, this is the fun part. We're going to take this thing outside, I'm going to cast it. And I'm going to see how far you can cast this skipping reel to see if it's a viable option just for an everyday fishing rod. I'm going to explain to you why it is or is not what you need. So let's go outside, let's take a look at it, and let's break this reel down. I want to know more about this thing. So let's go outside, let's take a look. All right, guys, we're outside, and we're going to test the casting distance on this. So I'm going to kind of take it slow at first because I don't want to cast all the line off. Guys, I'm gonna tell you right now, it has plenty of line. I just made probably about a 30-yard long cast. I was expecting this thing to only have about 40 yards, and I think I was wrong, actually, because that's for sure about 30 yards right there, and I still have that much line on my spool. So I'm gonna cast this thing across the street in my neighbor's yard. I still haven't thrown all the line off. Guys, this is plenty of casting distance for your bait. I'm telling you right now, this thing casts a freaking mile. I like it. All right, I'm gonna try to cast all the line off of this reel. Let's see what we can do. Guys, I still didn't cast it all off. Oh, cars are coming. Oh no, oh no. Okay, they didn't get it. It's all good. All right, so we're back inside. We made a few casts with the reel. First off, the reel felt really good. It was very, very smooth, really fast. And so I'm gonna tell you right now, the one thing I don't like about the reel, because I feel like it's something that needs to be addressed, but I'll explain to you why I like it and why I don't like it. The one thing I don't like is it's a very fast gear ratio. It's an 8:3 to 1 gear ratio, and to me, an 8:3 to 1 gear ratio is a very specific gear ratio for very specific techniques. However, one thing that I will say is when you're flipping, pitching, skipping, an 8:3 to 1 gear ratio is actually what you want. The faster you can get, the better off you are, because catching up with fish that throw a lot of slack in your line and stuff like that, you need a faster gear ratio. And that is what the Team Lose Pro SP offers, is a very quick gear ratio. But now, for instance, if I wanted to throw a lipless crankbait like this red-eyed shad, I don't know if it'd be really the right gear ratio, because it would create too much lift in the bait. So casting and reeling, yes, you could probably do it. Do I think it's the most ideal reel for that situation? No. Would I love to see Lose make one in a 7:3 to 1 or 7:5 to 1 gear ratio? Absolutely. I think it would be a killer reel. I mean, do they really have to? Probably not, because for the functionality of this reel, the gear ratio that they picked is the perfect one. So first off, that is one of my big complaints, is it only comes in 1 gear ratio. It does come in a right and left-hand retrieve, which is good for all you left-handers out there. I think it's a very good thing. One thing that I will say that was explained to me by Jason Christie and Andy Montgomery, and I think it makes so much sense, guys, and I hope you take this with this reel, and I hope it makes sense to you. When you are skipping, and we'll just blatantly say when you're skipping a bait around targets, where there's docks, laydowns, whatever it may be, the number one cause of backlash is not the line that you have on top of your reel, not right here, but what's underneath. One of the very best skippers in the game, which is Dave Lefebvre, which is a very good friend of mine. When I say he's probably one of the very best skippers, like, he is phenomenal. Like, he is so ridiculously good. And one of his big tricks is filling the spool about half to 3/4 full line. So what are we getting at here? So he's using less line on his reel. When I'm breaking it down as a tournament angler, I'm saying, okay, and I'm trying to learn. I look at Dave Lefebvre and I'm saying, okay, what is he doing? Why is he so much better at this than me? Other than sheer talent. I mean, the guy is just really talented when it comes to skipping and pitching. But beyond that, why is he only filling his spool half to 3/4 full? That is the concept of having less line on your reel, because it doesn't create those really deep backlashes. Will you backlash this reel? Yeah, you'll backlash it, 100%. But it's only going to be like 40 yards. Like, you're not going to be able to backlash it as much. Big, nasty backlashes come from loose line underneath the top layer of line. So whenever that slack gets thrown in the line, that line will shoot up and ball up, and it creates like one of those bird nests that you got to take scissors to. You're not going to have to do that with this reel. Like, this reel is going to eliminate that completely. Now, that's what the reel was designed for, was skipping. Let's be honest. Andy Montgomery is a skipper. Like, that's what he does. What I wanted this reel for was flipping and pitching. That's right, flipping and pitching. And I'm going to tell you exactly why I wanted this reel for that reason. How annoying is it whenever you pick up a spool of braided line or a big, 25-pound test fluorocarbon, 30-pound test fluorocarbon, whatever you're flipping with, which typically is big line. Let's be honest. Like, if you're flipping big line. Well, how annoying is it when you're putting all this backing on your reel, or you feel like you just spooled up 100 yards of braid, and you're literally making, at the longest, a 20-yard roll cast pitch at the longest. That's about as far as you want to go with it. So if I'm going to only pitch my bait like 20 yards, why waste 100 yards worth of line? So from a conservationist side of things, and trying to cut as many costs as I can, because I don't want to go spend an extra $150, $200 on line every year when I can get away with a spool that is so ridiculously shallow that still gets the job done completely, but uses less line. So it's the best of both worlds, basically. So now, I might only have to put like 10 yards of backing on this. And granted, when I'm using braid, I always use backing. You don't want your spool to have any spool slip or anything like that. So I always still put like 10 yards of backing. But even putting 10 yards of backing and loading this thing up, even with 80-pound tour grade braid, like, you're still got plenty of space on the reel to catch any bass that you want. I promise you. Like, you spool this thing up with 80-pound braid, put it on your favorite flipping stick, and you're going to be impressed. One thing, without a doubt, that Lew's has always done is they made a reel that is lightweight, fast, and dependable. And without a doubt, this reel, it's impressed me. I haven't gotten to take it fishing yet, so I'm still going to wait to give it my score on the fishing side of things. But just taking it out in the yard, making a few casts with it, making a few flips with it, I mean, it feels like any Lew's reel that I've ever used, durability-wise, without having to spool it up with like 200 yards of line. And I actually really love that. And I really wish they made it in a 7:5 gear ratio, because I'll be honest with you, I'd probably replace all my reels with it. I like it that much. I like the fact that if I spool it fluorocarbon, I don't have to use backing. I can spool it on there. It's like 50 yards of line, and I'm done. I'll tell you, to this point, I ordered like 6 of these things. That's how much confidence I have in this reel, is that I literally ordered 6 of these for my skipping, my pitching, and my short roll cast situations. Because that's, I mean, like, granted, guys, that's all you don't want to waste a lot of stuff. I don't want to waste a lot of time. So if I had to give this reel an overall grade, and I look at deductions of what I saw throughout the reel, I'd probably give it between an 8 and a 9 out of 10. Like I said, there's not a whole lot of range as far as gear ratio. It's literally 1 gear ratio, and I think that's something that I know I've kind of harped on a little bit, but I just like a reel that has a lot of different gear ratios that I can kind of pick which one I'm that kind of fisherman. I don't just throw 1 gear ratio all the time, and I know guys that do that, and that's great. If that works for you, fantastic. I hope this reel's perfect for you. But 1 gear ratio doesn't work for me, and I like finding reels that work for every situation. But I'm telling you right now, this reel is going to be on my deck all year long in all kinds of situations. Can't wait to get it out there. I'm going to give you a little breakdown, though, of a few things about this reel that make it really, really special. It has a very high-end drag. It has a 20-pound drag system, and that's what you want for setting the hook really hard. It's not going to move, guys. This is going to have a really sturdy frame. It sits low to the reel, so it's not going to shift around. It's not going to move around on you. The reel just feels really good. It's built around an aluminum frame, and I think that's really critical for a reel that's going to be heavy duty, is you want that aluminum frame. It's going to be a little bit stronger than graphite and some other things like that, and that's what I want in a pitching and flipping reel, skipping reel, and that kind of situation. It also has a centrifugal braking system on the side, and what I found really fascinating, on the side it actually goes free, 1 to 10, it says max, and it says skipping. So what I was told is if you want to skip like those guys, you actually turn that dial all the way to the max, and that's where they actually start with. They want it all the way turned up, and they will actually adjust it to where backwards. So you start at 10 or max, and you adjust it backwards, and that's actually how you get this thing like finely tuned to where when you make that skip and you're skipping that thing really hard and you're trying to get it under that dock, that you get it under there without backlashing almost every single time. I actually saw a video of Kevin Van Dam using this reel, and he was frogging with it. Yeah, you heard me right. He was frogging with this reel. I think he was only throwing like 30 or 40 pound braid. But I mean, he's making kind of a longer cast with this thing and catching quite a few fish. And that's actually what drew me into trying this thing out. And I actually ordered quite a few of them just for that reason. But like I said, guys, 8.5 to 9 out of 10 is what I would rate this new. That's what I would rate this new Team Loose Pro SP. You know, like I said, I think it's going to be a good reel. And guys, this isn't just some product push. This is such an unorthodox piece of equipment that I feel like most need some explanation of why this reel is what it is and why it is so effective. And I tell you guys, I get a ton of questions. I mean, literally a ton of questions. And one of the biggest questions I've had lately is on this reel because, granted, guys, that spool is tiny. It's tiny. It's so little. It's so it's like that deep. If you're looking for a reel that can flip, pitch, short line frog, skip a bait around a dock, this is the reel for you. Guys, thank you all so much for watching this. Like I said, I'm not going to do a ton of product reviews, but this one was such an unorthodox product, I felt like it needed it. So if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button. I really would appreciate it. Got a stream starting tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. and then got another video dropping on Thursday. Make sure you stay tuned to social media though, because I got a lot of really cool stuff coming. I'm telling you guys, we're headed to Choke Canyon next week. We're gonna film some really cool stuff. Todd Castledine, Bradley Hallman, Jason Bonds, and myself. It's going down. We're gonna catch them. I mean, we're gonna catch some big ones. Choke Canyon is going off right now. Can't wait for you to see the show. All the shows. It's going to be good. We're going to film a lot of stuff down there. And I promise you, we're going to teach you lots of really cool things to help you catch more fish. We will see you down the road, guys. Thanks for watching.